You want to go Pittsburgh, Arizona?
The longest game ever.
The longest game ever. Arizona Cardinals 24, Pittsburgh Steelers 10. Arizona, with their third win of the season, they moved to 3-10, falling out of the number 2 overall pick spot. Steelers fall to 7-5 as their crazy season continues. Biggest news coming out of this game, not only the loss for the Steelers, who were fighting for a playoff spot, but Kenny Pickett injured. He's going to have ankle surgery. Sounds like it might be that tightrope surgery. That's like a 2 to 4 week recovery. That's the what people are theorizing at the moment right now. So Pickett got injured about halfway through the game, or a little bit before, right? Right before the break.
Which one?
The second break? Whatever it was. But disappointing game for the Steelers. The second week post Matt Canada, maybe we overreacted in week 1, where they had a lot of yards and 16 points. They end up with just 10 points here, and it all came with Mitchell Trubisky. The last thing I wanted to finish up with here, the Steelers have to turn around and play on Thursday night. So it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky playing against the Patriots on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, midway through the last game, the first game without Matt Canada, you know, we always talk about how I'm actively rooting for the funniest thing that could happen at all times. We're like, how funny would it be if they went from being outgained in every single game but winning them all to, as soon as they get rid of Matt Canada, now they're going to put up 400 yards every week and lose, you know?
Yeah.
And it looked like that was going to happen last week until they found some points and won the game, and then it was just the Matt Canada stinks and we're 400 yards every time he's not there story, right? This game, though, they outgained the Cardinals and lost. And lost conclusively. I mean, it wasn't even particularly close. The Cardinals were the better team throughout this game. So, I mean, that's in the running for, well, we've removed the reason we can't move the ball, but apparently that hasn't solved all the problems. We still can't actually score, which is maybe the next step in this whole process. But I don't know if it's pointed or not, but each of the last 2 games, the non-Canada games, the first play has been a pass over the middle in a way that simply wasn't in the playbook previously. Last time, I think it was a pass up the seam to Freiermuth. This game, it was an in-breaking route to George Pickens, which he didn't tend to run under Matt Canada.
He's run like 4 in-breakers in 2 years with the Steelers.
Yeah, it's almost like they're making a point every week that the very first play is going to be something you won't see under Matt Canada. But yeah, like, I mean, at some point they're going to need points on the board in addition to moving the ball.
I will say, I mean, it didn't matter in this game. Trubisky looked pretty good in relief because he was throwing the ball to the middle of the field pretty well too. Hit a big deep out on 3rd and 14. Trubisky, look, he wasn't great last year when he started in Kenny Pickett's rookie season, but he played all right. He actually had some big plays in certain games, 3rd and longs.
I mean, he for the moment, it's you're going to end up with a different style, but functionally Trubisky and Pickett are the same quarterback in terms of the level, right? So any bump that you're anticipating for Kenny Pickett now that he's freed of Matt Canada's oppressive yoke should apply to Trubisky as well. Like, Trubisky should be better now in this offense than he would have been in Matt Canada's offense. That's just a logical next step.
Arizona on the other side, though, again, they deserve a ton of credit. As soon as they play a game like last week where they got dominated by the Rams, it keeps feeling like, all right, of course, this is what we thought the Cardinals were. Of course they're going to get, beat down in a bunch of games. But they always battle back, man. They battle back the next week, and they played much better. Stopped the run a lot better against Pittsburgh yesterday. Again, after Pittsburgh's run game had shown signs of life against the Bengals with Najee Harris last week. And then James Conner with a huge game on the ground in his return to Pittsburgh.
What a weird season they're having. Like, they generally are getting beaten fairly handily by everybody, but their 2 wins have come against Pittsburgh and Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas is a powerhouse. I mean, Pittsburgh's just the team that finds a way to win every game except when they don't.
Right. But they'd won most of them.
Yeah.
They're good. They've got a pretty good record to be getting your second win against. Trey McBride, since they've unleashed him as tight end 1, has been an absolute force and, an absolutely dominant player for them. He looked like he'd scored a touchdown, and then they took it off the board. Now, logically, I think, given other plays that have happened this season, it made sense to take it off the board, but this was another one. I don't know if it was Gene or somebody else, but the rules analyst was like, I think this one's going to stand. This
Hit
is
the
different.
Ground and then didn't complete it. Which one was this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like the the Deontay Johnson play from last week, right, where he catches the ball in the end zone, gets multiple feet down, 3 in this case, and then they hit the ground and the ball comes out. And he's like, well, the difference between this and the Deontay Johnson one last week is that there's a third foot down and even a knee and maybe an elbow, and then the ball comes out. So I think this one should actually stand. And then they were like, no, it's the same play. Don't be ridiculous. And they took it off the board. Then he scored, was it the next play or a play or two later? But either way, like McBride has had an insane level of production since they just put him in the lineup and went, why would he not be tight end 1?
McBride had 7 first downs or touchdowns through the air. Arizona, McBride had 5 of them. I mean, he has been absolutely fantastic. Arizona, it was 3-3 in the second quarter, and then Arizona took the last 5 or so minutes almost of the first half to go 15 plays for 99 yards to score that touchdown.
And
put them up 10-3. That was before or somewhere in the middle of those breaks.
Yeah, so it was interesting that the game, like it didn't go Arizona's way right away, and they just kind of ran away with it. This was close for a long time, and they were at 3-3 before that drive. Rondale dropped an absolute bomb. It was like 3rd and 14. They had like back-to-back plays of getting stuff for nothing, and in fact negative yardage. And then 3rd and 14, it's like everything they run was just getting annihilated in the backfield. And Kyler just goes, to hell with this. Like bomb deep down the field to Rondale Moore. And we'd been sort of praising them for using Rondale as a deep threat, a tiny guy that had just been a gadget receiver up until this point. They've been using him as a deep threat with Kyler Murray back, and he drops this absolute bomb. And like, that feels like the kind of play Arizona needs to have against a team like Pittsburgh. And despite that, they didn't need it. They then end up having that 99-yard drive and taking the lead and winning anyway.
Rondale did have a negated touchdown, though, where he Rondale Moss.
Right.
Patrick Peterson. That didn't count.
No, because then that was negated by holding.
Yeah. So
he ends up with this. He ends up.
What
with
was the stat line?
I was going to say he ends up with a box score that's 1 catch for 6 yards because he dropped like a 60-yard bomb and has a great touchdown catch negated by a holding call.
Yeah. So again, Trey McBride. Not only did he have 5 out of the 7 first downs, 8 out of the 13 completions that Kyler Murray had officially, because you take the Rondale drop and the negated touchdown. So, but yeah, credit Arizona and Pittsburgh still hanging on at 7-5. Where are they in the playoff picture here? I think if the playoffs started today, Sam, they're the number 5 seed going to Kansas City.
We would have to take them out because they lost their quarterback.
We would take them out. That's right. We would kick the Steelers out of the playoffs until we showed we would need some surgery results from Kenny Pickett. Can he come back?
Well, no, because the idea is they're starting today.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. He would be unavailable. Pittsburgh would be kicked out of the playoffs. We'd put Houston in, and I think that would be
fair.
A good decision. That would be the same exact decision that the College Football Playoff Committee made this weekend.
And I have no problem with it.
And you have no problem with it?
None.
Okay. All right. Let me. Anything else to wrap up on this while I get my bearings?
No, crazy. I mean, we were joking about this being the longest game ever. Like, they had multiple weather delays. The second one, at one point, they showed just a video, a live shot of like cascading rain coming down, like some of the worst rain you've ever seen, just dropping out of the sky. In addition to the lightning and yada yada, and this felt like it was going to go on for hours.